process. So normally we would have one of y'all welcome and call to order, but I'll kind of get us started and then kind of go through the ethics code. We are here under the Code of Ethics. There's been a complaint filed, and so section 3-102(6)(c) of our code says that the ethics board shall meet within 10 days to determine whether the complaint sets forth significant facts and circumstances so as to warrant a hearing before the board. So that's what we're here today to talk about. I will say to the folks that have shown up today, we appreciate y'all coming. As I said, this is to determine whether there are sufficient facts to have a hearing. So we will not be taking any public comment or input at this meeting, but if there is a hearing, of course we will. So I want to make that clear from the front. I don't want anybody to feel frustrated or cut off, but we won't be taking public comments at this meeting. So what I thought I would do is just kind of go through what the Code of Ethics said, and then we'll just open it up for whatever discussion y'all would like to have, okay? Do y'all have any questions before we kind of get started?
No, I'd like to know what the city has set forth as ethics since we've never met.
Sure.
I don't even know who else is on the commission really, so
Right.
welcome to it.
In your packet, I think it's the first document behind the agenda that Jennifer put together. You'll see a copy of 3-102. Make sure y'all all have that. You see that?
Yeah, this.
All right. And that is the Hoschton Code of Ethics, okay? And so we can take any kind of break you want to read it. I was gonna go through and kind of highlight some of the provisions for you, and then we'll kind of see what you want to talk about and how you want to proceed from there, okay? If you look, you'll see that it's arranged. It says section 3-102, and then like the first number is number 1, it says intent. The second one's number 2, it says definitions. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
All right, if you'll turn several pages in, you'll see number 6. And I believe it's probably the next to last page if y'all have the same copy I do. It says hearings and determinations.
Yeah.
Y'all see that? Okay. If you look at section A, this is why we're here, because it says that any person having a complaint against any city official, and city official is capitalized there, and it includes council members, which of course Adam Ledbetter is one of our council members, for an alleged ethics violation shall file in writing a verified complaint setting forth the particular facts and circumstances which constitute the alleged violation against the city official. And so that is what has been filed. You'll see behind the ethics code a 2-page document that Ms. O'Leary has filed, and it says right up front, I would like to file a formal complaint against Councilmember Adam Ledbetter, okay? And then behind it is a number of documents that she filed in conjunction with the complaint, as well as every email after that she sent to our clerk, Jennifer, that relates to the complaint. Have y'all read this before getting here today?
Some of this was not in my email.
Okay. We can take as much time as you need to read any of it you want, but I wanted to kind of go through the process first before we got to the substance. So, again, looking at that 6A of our code, that's what brings us here. Is any person having a complaint against any city official for an alleged ethics violation shall file this complaint setting forth the particular facts and circumstances which constitute the alleged violation, okay? So then we go to the next page and you'll see 6C. It starts out, it says the clerk shall constitute. You see what I'm talking about?
Yep.
It puts the burden on Jennifer to get a hearing board together, and y'all are that hearing board, okay? Then it says that we've got to meet within 10 days of the filing of the complaint, and this I believe is the 10th day. And it says to determine whether the complaint sets forth significant facts and circumstances so as to warrant a hearing before the board, okay? That kind of gets to what I mentioned to the folks who've shown up here today, that this is not the hearing, this is just the meeting to determine whether there will be a hearing, okay? Then it says, in the event that the complaint does not set forth sufficient facts to constitute an alleged violation and is found unjustified, frivolous, or plainly unfounded, it shall be dismissed and the complainant, which would be Ms. O'Leary, notified immediately. So that's one option, is a dismissal. The second option is, in the event the complaint is found to state sufficient facts to warrant a hearing before the board shall conduct a hearing within 10 days of such determination, okay?
So 10 days from within now.
From whenever you made the determination. So the way I read this is, you need to make a determination one way or the other. Either dismissal or have a hearing. If you make a determination of dismissal, and that could be right now, or it could be whenever, if we need to have another meeting, whatever y'all are in charge of that. Then we would immediately notify Ms. O'Leary as the complainant that you've dismissed it. If you determine, hey, I think we ought to have a hearing, then we would need to conduct that hearing within 10 days of whenever y'all make that determination. You follow me?
Yeah.
So if you make the determination of dismissal today, then of course we'll notify Ms. O'Leary right now, and she's here. If you determine there's a hearing, then we'll need to schedule that hearing within 10 days of today. Okay? All right. Then, all right. So then I think the next question that you have to answer yourself is you need to review the complaint and the enclosures, and then you need to decide, does this warrant, is this something that constitutes an ethics violation or could constitute an ethics violation under the code? And so to look at the code, I would encourage you to look at section 1, and that's the very first page. It says intent. And you can read that, but it basically sets forth the intent of what we want, we expect from elected officials, okay? Then also, I would encourage you to look at number 3, and that's a couple pages in, and it consists of letters A through P, and it's standards of conduct. Each one's a little bit different. It says, hey, you shouldn't do this, you should do that. It kind of goes through. And so I think in order to find that there should be a hearing, I think you need to say that there could possibly be a violation of the ethics code. Does that make sense? Okay. So that really kind of sets forth the framework. If you've not read through the complaint and the attachments, perhaps we should give you some time to do that, and then maybe when you're done reading, we can talk about what you want to do from there.
Okay.
I've looked through
reviewing? Okay. So, to go back over it, six A, person that has the complaint has to set forth the particular facts and circumstances which constitute the alleged violation against the city official. And then y'all need to determine whether the complaint does not set forth sufficient facts to constitute an alleged violation, is found unjustified, frivolous, or plainly unfounded. If that's the case, you dismiss it. Or, if you find that there are sufficient facts to warrant a hearing before the board, then you should make that determination, and we'll set a hearing.
Who presides over the hearing?
Hold on, I think y'all want a hearing.
I think it said that.
Yeah, we determine how we're gonna handle it, and I will say in most cases, you would appoint, someone to kind of conduct the hearing. That would probably be me, frankly, just to, you know, and then y'all would be the ones that would ask questions, or, you know, have discussion, whatever you said, you know. So, what discussion would y'all like to have?
Well, I think this kind of set up for failure to begin with. I mean, is anybody really gonna care what we have to say about it? She didn't want these two to even be here. That's what's kind of got me perturbed. Friends with his Facebook account, but, I mean, I like her pages for her hammer. Does that make me biased as well? I follow what people say to her and what she says, so.
I'm a local realtor, I accept friend requests from everyone.
Okay.
So,
I have thousands of
I
friends and I
have
have no
over
idea who they are.
4,000 friends and
I do a lot of traveling
Yeah.
and I have thousands of friends, but I have no idea who they are.
so that association is totally
I don't think
mute.
it matters.
I pretty much know everybody who lives here, one way or another. I mean, are we all
Well-
biased? I don't know.
Right.
Y'all are here, so I would say, y'all are the ethics board unless y'all are about to tell me that you don't wanna be. I mean, so, I mean, y'all are the three that have to make the determination. I would tell you that, you know, to have a hearing, you need to find that there's some possibility that this would violate the code of ethics. And to violate the code of ethics, I would encourage you to look at section 1 intent, and I can kind of go over it if you'd like for me to.
I've gone over all this.
Okay. And you can- or you
I've
can-
highlighted
Okay,
different things and
alright.
all that stuff. I can pretty much tell you where I land with this whole thing.
Okay.
It's super immature, a lot of stupid behavior. I don't find cyberbullying anywhere in there. The possible threat from hanging out with those two, you might be their next victim. I don't find that as being a direct threat in any way.
I didn't find it
Um,
threatening.
It's just stupid. It's very immature. I think creating a fake account is immature. I think some of the tactics involved with some of the conversation was super immature.
To follow the texts and messages back and forth, referring to other people, I don't know who the two people are that are invested in the city for 30 years. I have no idea who they are.
Well, part of what strikes me on that very first page with the messages,
And then
it's
there's-
only wheezy. Like there's a lot of
Yeah.
stuff that's been deleted, so I don't know the full context of the conversation
Right.
because whoever did this deleted everything and then took a screenshot.
And then towards the end of that, one of the screenshots are a conversation with a John.
I assume I know who that is. That's an assumption, but I assume I know who John is.
I mean, I agree that it's,
To me, it seems like a slap on the wrist to write up in the file. If it's ever done again, then there's reason to come back and say, okay, you knew better. You made a terrible mistake. That was stupid. Do it again, and then there's a reason for an ethical violation. What I find is a bunch of immaturity in a lot of it. I don't necessarily find
agree on that level.
a code of ethics violation, especially because the code of ethics, I had printed it out, read it, and highlighted stuff before I got here.
I find the intent to be malicious. He has his rights to his own opinion, and
I think
Yes,
opinion should be
they-
expressed in a much different
he
manner, but
wants.
that's my opinion about opinions. So if I'm saying I don't find a violation of ethics, I just find tact needs to be
People
worked on.
her Facebook page group, the mayor, that are already, I don't know, they maybe stuff too, and
I haven't seen any of that.
said I follow her too, I mean,
Yeah,
But you just read it, that I've digested it a couple times, I've been through it, what's your initial thoughts?
the same as yours, really,
Sure.
it was immature and a mistake probably to make,
and I don't know
make
what
a fake
drone,
account,
it said something, you said something, she said something about a drone,
yeah,
that's how it got started, I don't see anything.
There's
I don't
nothing
know
in there
anything
that
about there.
really,
That has that, or how it even got started,
that's not in here.
yeah.
And that's what I'm saying, this very first page, there's obvious conversation missing from it, because I can't make heads or tails of what it's supposed to mean, just because I don't know what the other context was. Reading one side of the conversation doesn't help.
Right, or any other, comments or
is there more evidence?
slander or harassment or whatever, I don't see
Yeah,
that in
to go back.
what's included in here.
Yeah, sure. To go back to it, the way that it gets here, the reason we're meeting is because the ethics code says that the person that has the complaint against a city official for an alleged ethics violation shall file in writing a verified complaint. Verified just means they sign it, and she did. Setting forth the particular facts and circumstances which constitute the alleged violation against the city official. So what you have before you is the complaint with, and I mean, I'll be honest, it's possible you could say complaint is just what was originally filed, but out of an abundance of caution, I asked Jennifer to print out everything that had been submitted at any time so that y'all would have every single thing that there is. Cause I didn't want there to be a feeling or accusation or anything that like, well, why didn't you get this email or that email? So even though I think it really should all be filed at once as one complaint, I just had her give y'all every single thing that was turned in. So that's what y'all have just looked at.
So, I mean, my conclusion on it is that, communication between the two of them probably should have ceased long before the rest of, all of these messages went through. But
I agree with that.
they're both human as well, so, is it misconduct, threatening, harassment? I don't see any of that.
I don't see the law.
And yeah, anything mentioning illegal or laws broken, I don't see that either. But you're the attorney, what laws were broken?
I will tell you that,
Regards to what's in front of us.
again, when I looked at it, and I don't make the decision, I
Yeah.
don't intend to encourage y'all in either direction whatsoever. That 6A says that the verified complaint should set forth the particular facts and circumstances which constitute the alleged violation, so it contemplates an alleged violation. When I read Ms. O'Leary's complaint, I've highlighted a few things. In the second paragraph, she says, however, a line was crossed and went from cyberbullying to blatantly breaking several laws. Then on the second,
Do we know what those are?
no.
The laws that have been broken?
I personally don't know, I can only read what's in the complaint. On the second page, the first full paragraph, she said, with all this being said, I would like an ethics hearing scheduled and for Adam to be held liable for his unethical behavior against me and the residents of this community. And then in the next to last paragraph, she says, a sitting council member that thinks it is okay for him to use his title to attempt to intimidate a mayoral candidate, I think not. I believe the residents would also agree putting faith in someone who is supposed to put the residents first and who knowingly breaks multiple laws and attacks residents is not acceptable and will not be tolerated. So there are references in here to breaking several laws, but there are no references to particular laws or to particular provisions of the ethics code.
the ethics code doesn't even have anything written on any sort of social media.
Right.
I mean, I'll go down to, on 924, called the Jackson County Sheriff's Department. He stated, without a backstory, he would not be able to say that it was a threat. I don't find a threat in there anywhere. That would be the part that I would take very seriously, is if there was some sort of a threat that was in there, but I'm not finding it. And especially if the sheriff is saying the same thing that I'm feeling, you know, unless there's more to this story that I'm not seeing, I'm not finding the threat. I would actually almost.
Or laws broken.
Yeah, I would almost actually change the, with all that being said, I would like an ethics hearing scheduled for Adam to be held liable for his immature behavior, is the word I would put there, against me and the residents of the community. And I'd like to go just down to, section 7A, where it talks about what would be the penalties. I think a disciplinary action, for sure, something put into this folder that this happens, that way if this comes up again, that is in there. And I know what I would do, is I would make a public apology for anything. Just if, I don't care why you hurt somebody, if you hurt them, you hurt them, you know, doesn't matter why, if you hurt them, you hurt them, you just apologize. I would leave it at that for now.
Well, here's what I would reiterate to y'all, is y'all really just have the two choices. Y'all can make a determination that the complaint does not set forth sufficient facts to constitute an alleged violation and is unjustified, frivolous, or plainly unfounded. If that's your determination, then you should dismiss the complaint.
That's fine.
Your second option is, if you find that the complaint states sufficient facts to warrant a hearing before the board, then you should set the hearing to, hear the evidence and then make a decision. What do you want to do in terms of the penalty? So you really only have the choice of dismissal or setting the hearing. There is no interim way of you see what I'm saying? It's really dismissal or have a hearing. And so that's what's before y'all. And y'all can, like I said at the outset, y'all can, somebody can make a motion and see if there's a second and vote on it now, or y'all can take further time to reflect and we'll reconvene when y'all are ready. It's really just up to y'all.
I'll make a motion to dismiss based on the 22 pages I've got in front of me.
Okay? So we have a motion from Dave. Is there a second?
I second it.
Okay, and a second, and I'm fixing to embarrass myself because now I can't remember if you're Mary or Kelly. We just met, and I apologize.
Kelly and Mary.
All right. And a second from Kelly. All right, all those in favor, raise your hand. Aye, opposed, none, so it will be dismissed. All right,
Well, that's
thank y'all.
not what people want to hear.
I've got an ethical question, and I know you don't want to hear it, but I wonder if it's ethical for Ms. Harrison to appoint her friends and family to the ethics board. That's my question.
I appointed the ethics board.
You did?
Yeah.
You appointed the ethics
Yeah, I
board
did
for
every
your
year.
hearing?
Every year.
For your hearing?
It was
Right.
prior to the hearing.
Well, I mean, that's not what it seemed like Mr. Hayes said a moment
That
ago.
way, but it was prior to the hearing.
Well, those weren't his words.
January, we were asked to be part of the board.
That's not what he just said here.
I think this is the lady that has suits against the Hoschton.
My name is Katie Corcoran, and I have a suit against you. There's soon to be a forgery case against your attorney, who conducted this hearing illegally as well, because your ordinance says that he can't conduct this hearing. Why don't you get one?